The evening was quiet but tense as police officers stood near a busy road doing routine checks. Cars moved slowly one by one while people waited patiently. The streetlights glowed softly, and the air felt heavy with cold and silence. A trained K9 dog named Rex walked beside his handler, Officer Tom, moving calmly as he had done many times before. Rex was known as a disciplined and focused dog. He never reacted without a reason and always followed commands. That night, however, something felt different. As Rex walked forward, he suddenly stopped. His paws pressed firmly against the ground, and his ears lifted sharply. His breathing changed, and his body became stiff. Officer Tom gently tugged the leash, expecting Rex to move again. Rex did not move. Instead, he turned his head slowly toward a woman standing a short distance away. She was waiting quietly near the sidewalk, holding her coat closed. One hand rested on her stomach, showing clearly that she was pregnant. Rex began to bark loudly. The sound cut through the quiet street and made several people turn their heads. This was not his normal alert bark. It sounded urgent and filled with panic. Rex pulled hard on the leash, trying to reach the woman. Officer Tom felt confused. Rex had never behaved like this during a simple checkpoint. He tried to calm the dog by speaking softly and keeping the leash tight. Rex ignored every command and continued barking. Other officers noticed the situation and stepped closer. Officer Anna watched carefully as Rex barked again, louder than before. People nearby began to step back, unsure of what was happening. The pregnant woman looked frightened. Her eyes widened, and her grip on her coat tightened. She took a small step backward, her face pale under the streetlight. "Is something wrong?" she asked in a shaky voice. Officer Tom raised his hand gently, signaling her to stay calm. He did not want to scare her. He could see that she was already nervous. "This is just a routine check," Tom said. "Please remain where you are." Rex continued barking and whining. His tail stayed stiff, and his eyes never left the woman. His nose pointed toward her midsection, but his posture was not aggressive. It looked more like warning mixed with fear. Officer Anna walked closer to the woman and studied her face. She noticed sweat forming on the woman's forehead even though the weather was cold. The woman's breathing seemed uneven. "Are you feeling all right?" Anna asked gently. The woman nodded slowly but looked unsure. "I feel strange," she said. "I thought it was normal. I just want to go home." Rex suddenly sat down, still barking, still staring. This behavior was not part of his training. Sitting like this usually meant he was signaling something important. Officer Tom felt a tight feeling in his chest. He trusted Rex more than anything. The dog had saved lives before and never reacted without cause. Anna glanced at Tom and spoke quietly. "This doesn't feel normal." The woman shifted her weight and placed both hands on her stomach. Her face tightened with discomfort, and she let out a slow breath. She tried to stay standing, but her knees trembled slightly. "I feel dizzy," she said softly. Rex barked again, louder and sharper than before. His body leaned forward as if urging everyone to act faster. Officer Tom stepped closer to the woman now. "Please sit down," he said calmly. The woman hesitated, then slowly lowered herself onto a nearby bench. She leaned forward, breathing heavier than before. Cars continued passing, but the checkpoint had lost its routine calm. All eyes were now focused on the woman and the barking dog. Anna crouched beside the woman and spoke in a steady voice. "How far along are you?" 8 months, the woman replied. "Everything was fine this morning." Rex let out a low whine between barks, pacing slightly now. His movements were restless, almost pleading. Officer Tom radioed for medical support, unsure if it was needed but unwilling to take risks. Something about Rex's behavior told him that waiting was dangerous. The woman suddenly gasped and pressed her hand tighter against her stomach. Her breathing became fast and shallow. Fear filled her eyes. "I don't feel right," she whispered. Anna placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Help is on the way. Stay with us. Rex barked again, louder than ever, as if trying to warn them that time was running out. His cries echoed down the street, filled with urgency. Officer Tom looked at Rex, then at the woman, and realized that this moment was far more serious than anyone had first believed. Whatever Rex had sensed, it was not about danger from the woman. It was about danger to her. And the truth had not revealed itself yet. The street felt different now as fear replaced routine and silence turned heavy with concern. The barking of Rex filled the air again and again as if he was counting each passing second. Officer Tom stayed close to the woman, watching every small movement she made. The woman leaned forward on the bench, breathing harder than before. Her hands trembled as they rested on her stomach. Her face showed pain mixed with confusion as she tried to stay calm. Officer Anna spoke softly to her, using slow and steady words. She did not want the woman to panic. She asked her simple questions to keep her focused and awake. Rex moved in small circles nearby, whining and barking in short bursts. His eyes stayed locked on the woman, and his ears stayed raised. He kept pulling the leash toward her, then sitting down again. Officer Tom felt his heart pounding. Rex had worked with him for years. He knew the difference between fear, aggression, and warning. This was a warning. The woman suddenly let out a soft cry and grabbed the edge of the bench. Her body leaned to one side as if she was losing strength. Anna quickly supported her shoulder and helped her stay upright. I feel pressure, the woman said quietly. Something feels wrong inside. Anna exchanged a quick look with Tom. They both knew this was serious now. Tom spoke into his radio again, asking the medical team to hurry. Rex barked sharply, as if reacting to the woman's words. His tail moved stiffly, and his paws scratched the ground. A few people nearby tried to step closer, curious and worried. Another officer gently guided them back to keep space around the woman. The air felt colder as time passed. The woman's breathing became uneven, and sweat ran down the side of her face. She closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them again slowly. Anna kept talking to her, reminding her to breathe slowly and stay alert. She held the woman's hand firmly so she would not feel alone. Rex suddenly stopped barking and stood very still. His nose lifted into the air, and his body froze. This sudden change worried Tom even more. The woman gasped again and cried out softly. Her body shook as pain moved through her. She tried to speak but could not finish her words. Tom knelt beside her now, breaking from his usual role. He spoke calmly, telling her help was close and she was not alone. Rex let out a low, deep sound that was not a bark. It sounded like worry and urgency mixed together. A distant siren finally reached the street. The sound brought a small sense of hope to everyone present. Anna looked up and nodded to Tom. The woman opened her eyes wider when she heard the siren. Tears filled them as relief and fear mixed together. She squeezed Anna's hand tightly. I am scared, she said softly. Anna leaned closer and spoke gently. She told her she was doing well and that she only needed to stay strong a little longer. Rex barked again as the sound of the siren grew louder. His whole body seemed to push forward with each sound. The medical vehicle arrived and stopped quickly near the checkpoint. 2 medical workers stepped out and moved fast toward the woman. They assessed her condition carefully while Anna explained everything that had happened. Tom stayed close, holding Rex steady. One medical worker checked the woman's pulse and breathing. The other listened closely to her stomach and watched her reaction. Their faces became serious as they exchanged looks. They spoke quietly but quickly with each other. The woman's pain increased, and she cried out again. Her body curled forward, and her breathing became fast. The medical team acted immediately. They placed her on a stretcher with careful movements and prepared to move her. Rex barked loudly as the stretcher lifted. He pulled against the leash harder than before, refusing to stay back. Tom followed closely as they moved her into the medical vehicle. He could feel Rex shaking with tension. Anna climbed inside with the woman while the medical workers continued working. Tom stayed just outside, watching through the open door. Rex stood frozen near the door, staring inside with deep focus. His ears stayed alert, and his breathing was heavy. The doors closed slowly, and the vehicle prepared to leave. Rex let out one final sharp bark that echoed down the street. As the vehicle drove away, Tom felt a strange mix of fear and trust. He knew Rex had sensed something no human could see. This was not a normal medical situation. Something hidden had been happening inside that woman. And Rex had known it before anyone else did. The medical vehicle moved quickly through the quiet streets as its lights reflected off empty buildings. Inside the vehicle, the woman lay on the stretcher, breathing fast and shallow. Her hands stayed on her stomach as fear filled her eyes. Officer Anna sat beside her and spoke calmly, reminding her to breathe slowly. She held the woman's hand firmly to keep her grounded. The woman nodded weakly, trying to focus on Anna's voice. The medical workers worked without stopping. One monitored her breathing and pulse while the other prepared equipment. Their faces stayed serious, showing the urgency of the situation. The woman suddenly cried out again as a wave of pain moved through her body. Her grip tightened around Anna's hand. Tears rolled down her face as she struggled to stay strong. Anna leaned closer and spoke softly. She told her she was doing everything right and help was close. Her voice stayed calm even though her heart raced inside. The vehicle slowed as it reached the hospital entrance. Medical staff waited outside, ready to act. The doors opened, and the stretcher was rolled out quickly. Bright lights filled the hallway as the woman was moved inside. The smell of clean air and quiet footsteps replaced the street noise. Nurses and doctors surrounded the stretcher, speaking quickly and clearly. Anna stepped back slightly as the hospital team took over. She watched closely, refusing to leave. The woman reached out briefly, and Anna squeezed her hand one last time. Doctors guided the stretcher into a room and closed the doors. The hallway became silent again. Anna stood still, feeling helpless as minutes passed. Outside, Officer Tom arrived at the hospital with Rex by his side. Rex moved quickly through the entrance, pulling the leash forward with purpose. His eyes stayed focused ahead as if he knew exactly where to go. Tom followed, his mind racing. He had seen many emergencies before, but none like this. Rex had never reacted with such intensity. Rex stopped suddenly near the closed room door. He sat down firmly and stared at it. His ears stayed alert, and his breathing was heavy. Tom felt a chill run through him. This was the same signal Rex had given earlier. Something serious was still happening. Anna noticed Rex and walked over quietly. She knelt beside him and placed a hand on his back. Rex did not move his eyes from the door. Time passed slowly in the hallway. Every second felt heavier than the last. Tom and Anna waited without speaking. Inside the room, doctors worked carefully and quickly. They spoke in calm but urgent tones as they checked the woman again and again. Her condition had changed, and they needed to act fast. The woman felt weak and confused. Her vision blurred as voices moved around her. She tried to speak but could only whisper. A doctor leaned close and spoke gently. He told her they had found a problem that needed immediate care. His voice stayed steady to keep her calm. The woman nodded weakly, trusting them. Fear filled her thoughts, but she held on to the hope that help was finally here. Outside, Rex shifted slightly and let out a low sound. Tom tightened the leash gently, feeling Rex's tension through his hands. Anna watched Rex carefully. She could see that he was not acting out of fear. He was waiting. Suddenly, the door opened slightly, and a nurse stepped out. Her face showed urgency but also control. She spoke quietly to another staff member and hurried away. Tom and Anna exchanged looks. They both felt the same fear growing inside. Rex stood up and took a small step forward, his body alert. His tail stayed still, and his ears remained upright. More time passed. The hallway clock ticked softly, each sound feeling louder than before. Finally, the door opened fully, and a doctor stepped out. He removed his gloves slowly and took a deep breath. Anna stepped forward immediately. "How is she?" she asked. The doctor looked at them with a serious expression. He explained that the woman had been in serious danger. There had been a hidden medical problem that could not be seen from the outside. If she had gone home, the outcome could have been very different. Anna felt her chest tighten as she listened. Tom lowered his head slightly, realizing how close they had come to losing her. The doctor continued speaking, explaining that they arrived just in time. Immediate action had prevented something much worse. Rex suddenly relaxed slightly and sat down again. His breathing slowed, and his posture softened. Tom felt a wave of relief wash over him. Rex had been right from the start. Anna asked softly, "Will she be okay?" The doctor nodded. He said she would need care and rest, but she was safe now. Both the woman and her unborn child were stable. Anna closed her eyes for a brief moment, holding back tears. Tom placed a hand on Rex's head and whispered thanks. Rex looked up at Tom briefly, then back toward the room. His job was not finished yet, but the danger had passed. The hallway felt lighter now. Fear slowly gave way to relief. Everyone realized one clear truth. If Rex had not acted that night, no one would have known the danger in time. And a quiet warning from a loyal dog had changed everything. The hospital hallway slowly returned to a calm state as the tension faded from the air. The bright lights no longer felt harsh, and the quiet sounds of footsteps felt comforting instead of frightening. Officer Tom stood beside Rex, gently rubbing his head as both waited patiently. Rex sat calmly now, his earlier urgency replaced by steady focus. His ears relaxed slightly, and his breathing became slow and even. It was clear that he sensed the danger had passed. Officer Anna stood nearby, her arms crossed as she looked toward the closed room door. Her mind replayed everything that had happened at the checkpoint. The barking, the fear, and the urgency all felt unreal now. After some time, the door opened slowly. A nurse stepped out and smiled gently. She nodded toward Anna and Tom, signaling good news. Anna stepped forward carefully. "Can we see her?" she asked softly. The nurse nodded again and motioned for them to follow. She reminded them to keep quiet and calm. Tom tightened Rex's leash slightly as they walked forward. Rex moved with purpose but stayed calm, his steps quiet against the floor. Inside the room, the woman lay resting on the bed. Her face looked peaceful now, though tired. A soft blanket covered her, and her breathing was steady. When she saw Anna and Tom, her eyes filled with emotion. She gave a weak but warm smile. Relief washed over her face. Anna stepped closer and spoke gently. She told the woman she was safe and everything was under control. The woman nodded slowly. "Thank you," she said quietly. "I did not understand what was happening." Tom stood respectfully nearby while Rex sat at his side. The woman noticed the dog and smiled softly. "That dog," she said slowly. "He knew something was wrong." Anna nodded. "He saved you," she replied honestly. The woman reached out slightly, and Rex leaned forward gently, allowing her to touch his head. Rex stayed still and calm, his eyes soft. Tears formed in the woman's eyes as she rested her hand on Rex. Gratitude filled her expression as she whispered thanks. Tom felt a deep sense of pride. Rex had been trained to protect and serve, but moments like this showed something more. It showed instinct and care beyond commands. A doctor entered the room quietly and explained the situation in simple terms. He said there had been a serious hidden condition that gave no clear warning signs. Only immediate action had prevented a tragic outcome. The woman listened closely, her face showing shock and understanding. She realized how close she had come to danger without knowing it. "If I had gone home," she said softly. The doctor nodded gently. Things could have been very different. Silence filled the room as the weight of that truth settled in. Anna placed a comforting hand on the woman's arm. You are safe now, Anna said. That is what matters. Rex stood up slowly and moved a step back, sensing his role was complete. He sat again beside Tom, calm and alert. The woman rested back against the pillow, closing her eyes for a moment. A peaceful expression replaced her earlier fear. Later that day, Tom and Anna stood outside the hospital as the sun began to rise. The city looked different in the morning light. Quieter and softer. Rex sat between them, calm and steady. The night had tested them all, but it had also shown something powerful. Anna broke the silence. People think dogs just follow orders, she said. But tonight proved something else. Tom nodded. They feel things we cannot. Rex lifted his head slightly, as if listening, then rested it again. News of the event quietly spread among the officers. They spoke of the K9 dog who barked for no clear reason and saved 2 lives without anyone realizing it at first. Rex received gentle praise and extra care, but to him, it was just another moment of listening to his instincts. For the woman, life would never feel the same. She carried a deep sense of gratitude and a story she would one day tell. A story about a night when a dog's warning changed everything. For Anna and Tom, it was a reminder of why they served. Not just to enforce rules, but to protect lives in ways they could not always explain. As the sun rose higher, the city returned to its usual rhythm. People walked past the same street where it had all begun, unaware of how close tragedy had come. But Rex remembered. And so did those who stood there that night. Sometimes, the loudest truth comes not from words, but from a desperate bark at the right moment.